Well, as you would have expected, rumors continue to swirl around the new game coming out in 2026. What game is that, Culture? Well, Ghost of Yotai has actually been delayed to 2026, and it really didn't seem like it was the game Sony was expecting. It certainly wasn't the game we were expecting from Sucker Punch, and it basically threw all the rumors aside. But we need to talk about it on That Gameplays. Hi friends, it's me, CC here, once again with the amazing movie monster himself and wrestling fan, Marvin. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, doing all right. Ready to talk about this game. You know, Culture, they said I was mad when when this trailer dropped. They were like, Marvin's being too quick to judgment, blah blah blah. But you know what? Everything that I'm continuing to hear about this game makes me feel like I was vindicated in my hesitation. I'm not yet even full on afraid for this game because I do still love Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm hoping that things are coming from a place of goodness. But the gaming industry has done nothing to make me optimistic, and the more I hear, the more worried I get.
Yeah, and I think a lot of gamers had that gut reaction right away. They were all expecting a sequel for Jin Sakai, I believe, and I was as well. So when we watched this live on the Tuesday live stream for State of Play, I think we were all taken aback. We were not expecting the game to be even announced, and then follow it up, it's a female. Well, it looks like the game's been delayed. At least that's what the rumor says, reported by John F. Trent over at That Park Place. I want to say thank you for all the work that you do, John. And a rumor is claiming that Sony and Sucker Punch Productions recently announced the Ghost of Yotai would be delayed until at least 2026 after the company changed its vision from Ghost of Tsushima sequel to Ghost of Yotai. Sony announced Ghost of Yotai during its most recent State of Play, as I just mentioned a moment ago, and that there they revealed that the game would be released sometime in 2025. Well, not so fast. Sucker Punch Productions Senior Communications Manager Andrew Goldfarb declared on PlayStation Blog, "We are forever grateful for the success of Ghost of Tsushima, and we can't wait for you all to experience Ghost of Yotai in 2025. Now, a little over a week since then, at least since that announcement, a new rumor from YouTuber Endymion claims the game will likely be delayed until 2026. He shared that I was also told, do not expect Yotai in 2025 at all. Apparently, the game's nowhere near being done, but it's a very slim chance that the game actually releases in 2025. It could very easily fall into 2026. But if you're getting your hopes up for it coming out next year, probably don't do that. Marvin, now we've been getting a lot of news from Endymion. Do you suspect that this
Yeah.
is fairly accurate?
Well, Endymion has got a lot of sources in the gaming industry lately. He's been getting a lot of inside sources from a lot of different studios, who I guess are a big fan of what he's doing and the message that he's trying to spread to save the gaming industry. I love Endymion's videos. I think they're very well done. They're very well researched. I never have any reason to doubt him, so I believe this. And if what we're hearing is to be believed, this was supposed to be the Jin Sakai Ghost of Tsushima sequel that we were all promised, that kind of was built up at the end of Ghost of Tsushima. But then someone decided, no, let's make it 300 years in the future and put it starring a woman. And that decision, I don't feel ever really comes from a good place, Culture. I think it comes from a place that we all know well, we all know too well. I think it comes from a place, a sweet baby place almost. And I wouldn't be shocked if they were involved in this in some way.
Well, and strangely enough, we have to say that they've been involved in a lot of Sony failures. And so would it be surprising? Absolutely not. Same thing with everything coming out of Ubisoft. We would not be surprised to hear just how deeply embedded they were.
I get that everybody is very slow to believe this of Sucker Punch because Ghost of Tsushima was so good. But you have replaced a male protagonist that everyone loves with a female, and the way you did this trailer, it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. For 2 minutes of that trailer, we were all led to believe that this was Jin Sakai. And then in the last 30 seconds, they revealed it was a woman as some big hold for applause, take a bow. We're so proud of ourselves for being so stunning and brave. And then you find out that the woman that's playing this character is an absolutely unhinged feminist activist.
Yeah, Erika Ishii certainly does
Yeah,
have some very interesting opinions. But what's really funny is, and this is something that we expected, is this was not the game that Sucker Punch was originally working on. They were working on a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, not
right.
not this Ghost of Yotai. So what this tells me is somebody got in there and rooted around and changed up what they were going to do. In fact, Endymion talks about this, saying, I was told that originally Yotai was not the original game idea at all. It was actually indeed Ghost of Tsushima 2, starring Jin Sakai. But sometime during development, the game was halted and then completely changed in vision. This Atsu character we see was not originally decided to be the main character of this game. Ooh, wild. And apparently, according to my sources, Yotai's world and design are largely based on the assets that were being used while making Tsushima 2. Apparently, work began on Tsushima 2 around 2 months after the official sales data came through on the first game's success. So they were going right into the next game, which is smart. You know, give
Right.
everybody 2 months to take a breath, have vacation, spend time with their family, and then get right back to work on making another massively successful game. I don't know. Marvin, what do you think inspired them to all of a sudden change direction and deviate so wildly from what had succeeded before?
It was a DEI viation. That's what happened here. I don't understand how they're being infected by the same virus that's coming. There's no other reason why you would have a game centered around Jin Sakai, a character people love, in a game that people love, and then all of a sudden decide, nah, screw him. 300 years later, female protagonist, let's go. Like, there's no other reason for that but than DEI.
Well, and worse yet, Marvin, I think, according to the story here, that later in his video he said, I'm told Yotai may be smaller than the original
Ugh.
Tsushima because of the development problems behind the scenes and the fact that they sidelined Jin Sakai for this new Atsu hero instead. Well, that doesn't surprise me. You've cut short your development time and you've basically had to create out of whole cloth an entirely new character rather than
This has
just
got the
work.
makings of everything gamers love. Smaller than the original and with a rebooted, more diverse female hero than the male hero that they already love.
Yeah, I think that I detect a little bit of sarcasm there, but I will tell you that
If
this
you're only
does not.
detecting a little bit, then I'm gonna have to up my game.
You probably should anyway. He also shared that Yotai is allegedly being developed as a cross-gen game for PS5 and PS4 because Sucker Punch and Sony are worried that the game won't sell if it isn't available to a larger install base. That speaks disaster to me, and it
In
also has.
2026, you're still developing a PS4 game?
Yeah, that tells me that PS5 sales are not what we've been led to believe. There must not be a lot of adopters on the PS5 side of things. Wow, Marvin, what do you say?
I think that it's because PS5s were impossible to get for how many years, Uh people, I guess, just kind of moved on from wanting it. You figure the biggest sales are going to come when it's brand new, but when it was brand new, nobody was able to get it. My PS5, I had to fight for a month and a half of chasing drops to finally get my PS5.
Well,
So I think a lot of people just gave up and never went back.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that because I know a lot of people that didn't get it. I was fortunate, got mine right away, but again, that was because I had people looking out for me. So,
Yeah.
but finally, and I think this is the most important part, based on the public's reception to this, it may limit its scale. This could be scaled down significantly, according to Endymion's sources. He stated that, as I was also told, if Yotei's reception does not improve, this would scale the game back in terms of scope and resources. If Sony starts to notice the public opinion on the game is not changing for the better, they'll opt for a smaller overall content package. Well, now, isn't that what gamers also like to hear, Marvin?
Oh, for sure. For sure. This has got all the makings of a disaster. I was yelled at by everyone under the sun when I said, hold on a minute, something doesn't smell right here. And people are like, just because there's a woman doesn't mean it's woke. But I'm like, no, when you are actively replacing an established male protagonist with a woman that's taking on the mantle of the ghost now, that reeks of wokeness to me. It really does, especially coming from Sony, especially, you know, coming from a Western studio. You know, yes, it is a Japanese, you know, it's a game set in Japan, but it is a Western studio. I really have a lot of fear for what this is going to be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of gamers are going to join you in that fear, Marvin. But, you know, I'm going to give you the last word on this moving forward, and then we'll go to our wonderful audience out there. What do you think? Do you think that we'll end up with both games? Is there a possibility we could end up with Ghost of Tsushima 2 in addition to Ghosts of Yotai? Or do you think that Sony's already spread themselves thin enough in working with this studio, Sucker Punch, that you'll only get one of these games?
If this bombs, if Ghost of Yotei bombs the way we think it might, I think then after that, Sucker Punch is going to be like, because you spoke and we heard you, we're giving you Ghost of Tsushima 2. And it was always our goal from the beginning to give you this. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to be